What's up everyone on the internet? Thank you for making this video part. I'm so excited to upload this one for you guys because for this video we're going to be taking a look at a movie that pretty much invented the term blockbuster while also sparking a fear of sharks. That's right, we're going to be taking a look at the movie Jaws. Given that we're only a day away from the 4th of July where people are going to be running toward the beaches, what better way to celebrate the holiday by talking about the one movie that made people run away from the beaches? Fun fact, Jaws was actually first written as a 1974 novel by Peter Benchley, which would then be Steven Spielberg's directorial debut as a film director, given that he was only directing TV at the time. Anyway, so the movie has been out for almost 50 years and has stood the test of time in terms of storytelling, and when you look at the making of the film, it's actually quite interesting. But like I said, the movie's been out since 1975 and it tells the story of a shark terrorizing the beaches of New England, where police chief Martin Brody teams up with a scientist and fisherman to hunt down the shark. And what I really love about this film is that you can watch this movie from the perspective of all three characters. For our scientist, Matt Hooper, people who have a fascination with shark and oceanic wildlife in general can watch this film from his perspective as someone who wants to study the shark and provide a more educated way in making sure that both the shark and the beachgoers aren't harmed when they're coexisting with one another. Now, when you look at our fisherman character, Quint, one could say that he fits more of the blue-collar character, who's pretty much the man's man character of the story and takes joy in killing sharks for sport and vengeance given his past. More on that later. And finally, we have Brody, who acts as the middleman of the group, who wants the shark gone so that people can feel safe when they go to the beach, but wants it done in a very smart and safe way. It's funny because whenever I watch this film, I can see a lot of myself in Hooper, because whenever I was in school, I was very interested in biology and science and loved learning about wildlife in general. So whenever I watch this film with my dad and brother, I consider myself as the Hooper of the group. Now, while I love Hooper, there is one moment in the film that pretty much steals the whole movie, and it's actually an improvised moment where we get to learn more about Quint's past and why he hates sharks so much. In that moment, we hear Quint talk about how he's a survivor of the USS Indianapolis, which was a naval ship that sank during World War II, where the shipwrecked sailors were attacked by sharks over the course of several days. And what I love about that particular moment is how the tone shifts when you hear Quint's story, and then the eerie music just sinks in as you can imagine this story being told within a story. And then suddenly you hear the echoing sound of an injured whale, letting the audience know that the shark is out there and he's hungry. Speaking of which, one of the other things I also love about this film is how Spielberg handled the shark. At the time of filming, Spielberg had written several scenes where he wanted to showcase the shark as this big Leviathan monster that just overwhelms and terrifies the audience. However, due to the fact that he was on a tight budget, Spielberg had to make best with what he had and decided to showcase the shark as little as possible. Which is smart, because when you think about it, showing the shark as little as possible just makes it even more scarier as you begin to imagine what this creature looks like and how scary it is. Another thing to consider that also makes this movie even more terrifying is that when you're in the ocean, you don't know what's beneath you, and it's that factor alone that makes this film even more scary and why it was such a big hit at the box office. It just goes to show you how creative Spielberg is when you look at how he made this film with little resources. It's funny because when you look at the film, it's amazing to see how it was made in the first place, given all the problems that Spielberg had to deal with. Whether it was the press leaking images of the production, the shark malfunctioning, or even dealing with the forces of nature, anything that could have gone wrong went wrong with Jaws. And all this was being thrown at Spielberg, who had directed TV before but never film. So to see this new director come on board and steer the ship into rough waters, if this film had tanked, it would have ended his career. But once again, faith in good old Steve. When you look at how he decided to shoot this film, it worked a lot better than what he originally had in mind. I mean, when you watch that opening scene, you are scared to know what's beneath the surface of the water as you watch this young swimmer get thrashed around like a rag doll. And after watching that amazing opening, from here on out, Spielberg is going to make you think twice before going to the beach. To this day, I still have a small fear going into the ocean, specifically because of Jaws. But at the same time, this movie also piqued my interest in learning more about wildlife and our oceans in general. So to see how this movie left a long-lasting impact on me, it just shows you that this film has stood the test of time. And it also shows you that Steven Spielberg will forever go down history as one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. Well, that's going to do it for this video, guys. That was my overall review of Jaws. If you like what you saw, click the subscribe button so you can get the latest updates from this channel. I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Bye-bye.